Tiff and the Punisher ready for a stand, facing down the system with a plan in hand. Families torn apart, it's a painful sight. They're here to make it right under the moon's soft light. CPS on the doorstep, knocking at the door. Mothers crying, children hiding on the floor, fighting for the family's hearts, heavy yet bold. In every whisper story, the truth is being told. Free our kids, save the family, hold them tight. Every voice, every heart shining through the night. Fight for the Constitution, stand your ground. It's not over until justice is found. Podcasts and voices breaking through the noise, speaking for the silenced, giving them a choice. Breaking down the walls, lifting up the veils. Truth comes marching in, guided by the trails. Fade backing down till the dawn's early light, standing tall and firm, ready for the fight. The world may try to silence, but they won't be ignored. Freedom's melody echoes in every chord. Free our kids, save the family, hold them tight. Every voice, every heart shining through the night. Fight for the Constitution, stand your ground. It's not over until justice is found. Free our kids, save the family, hold them tight. Every voice, every heart shining through the night. Fight for the Constitution, stand your ground. It's not over until justice is found. Justice found. Yeah. Freedom count.
They are taking our kids every day. I shout them in and no one has a thing to say for those who have been isolated. Don't be worried, you have a voice today. So listen up everyone, here is the story. Child Protective Services is real. CPS is what they call it. They want our kids because it fills a lot of people's wallet. We all think it won't be us. We say when they come we will be so tough. It all sounds good when there's no one to take them. But when they come, your voice gets to breaking. Stay calm, step away. CPS ain't taking no one today. We are educated. Stay calm, step away. CPS, you need to leave. I know the tricks up your sleeve. You can't do what you're trying to do. We have done our homework. Don't do a damn thing without a warrant. You no longer will steal our kids this way. Tiff and the Punisher have come for the calling. They are giving us the CPS warning. Their voice is loud and clear. We stop losing our kids this year. Tiff wants to fight the entire planet. She is tired of our kids being taken, goddammit. She's been fighting CPS for 30 years, bringing children home from this disgusting mess. The Punisher is screaming out loud, abolish CPS and tear it down. I want all our kids to come back. Look at all those kids' pictures held up like thin tags. Together we are stronger than we need. We will tear down CPS with high speed. We will do so much being together. Birds of a feather flock together. So watch out, CPS, here we come. picking you one by one. We promise to bring back the family and prosecute the caseworkers unhandily. So give us back the kids you have taken, Tiff and the Punisher, sending you all on a vacation. The one with bars in the windows, and the only games you play are on Nintendos. Corruption in courts, here we come. We won't stop until it's done. You judges need to learn what you stand for. This is Tiff and the Punisher Warrior, and we cry out to all of you out there. We need support for a cause that many don't care. All children are being stolen way too often. So CPS, we plan on doing the stopping. Stop.
Yeah.
So I was trying to figure out how to put that on my ringtone, and I can't figure it out. So I'm gonna have to call you tomorrow. I meant to tell you that earlier.
How many months has it been now? You know, you need to give me that song. I'm gonna put that damn thing right on my ringtone, drive around town with it in my car.
Well, I am,
Now you're just.
but I gotta have the windows down so they can hear me.
You can have the windows down all year round. Look, we had an earthquake up here in Maine today.
That's what you said. Oh my, your
like,
house didn't shift.
It was loud. Oh man, we thought the house was blowing up.
Oh my God.
Crazy. Yeah, it was real life. It was really happening. I've never been in an earthquake like that before. It was like, Mary goes, Darren, run. I'm like, what are we running for? We don't even know what it is.
Where are you gonna run to?
Yeah, I don't know what the hell we're doing. New to this. I don't know. I went and jumped in the bathtub.
Wow.
That's what you're supposed to do, isn't it? Jump in the bathtub?
I think that's a tornado.
Oh, all right. Yeah, Vinny felt it too up there.
Wow.
Yep.
I'm glad you guys are okay.
Yeah, I was more afraid of that tsunami because that's my biggest fear, is that 2-mile tsunami wave going to come crush over me. Whew. I don't like that. I don't like that happening at all.
That's why I live here in Winchester with the mountains and all that happy horse crap, because I'm pretty safe right here.
Well, I mean, you're close to the ocean. How close to the ocean are you?
The nearest ocean to me is 4 hours.
Okay, in miles, how many is that? 2? 10? West Virginia?
Virginia Beach or
I've been to Virginia Beach.
Ocean City.
I used to have a tattoo shop, and we went to Virginia Beach one time, and we parked up there, and I had a tattoo shop out of the back of my truck, and we had a tent and everything, and we was down there slinging ink and making money. I should have had you come over.
Hey, I'm tattooed. I've got 17, 18.
If you can count them, you don't have enough.
Yeah, I don't have enough, but my husband said you're running out of room.
It's always spots.
I want to get We the People and the Bill of Rights next.
I bet Benny would get weed the people on him. Maybe we just started something there. Weed the people. That's good.
Yeah.
Hey, did you see that I got to interview our Mr. Gabe last night?
Look here. When this show's over and my head hits that pillow at 8:30, you will not see me until they get up.
Look, I contemplated the emergency line for that, and I waved it off. But yeah, it was a good interview. It was a really good interview. I mean, he's got a lot. Man, that guy's been through quite a bit. But he's coming out. He's coming right out being Nancy Schaefer. You know, he's just comes out there with just bulldogging it. You know, he's a freshman, He's coming in there just dropping bills down for redoing child protective services and all this. So and his mindset and his concept was great too. He's like, I can't just go in there and he's like, I got to chip away at these things. I can't just go in and try to bulldoze it because they won't even pay attention. Because like he said, he's the freshman, on the floor there for Oklahoma, so he can't really get much done. And I think the most he can get is 6 bills, he said, push through. So, which to me that seems like an awful lot anyway. So that seems like a good number.
Well, I have to watch it tomorrow then.
Yeah, it's good educational video. Of course, I look good in it, so that's good. I washed my hair up for it and everything, cleaned myself up, looked nice. Yeah, so yeah, it was a good interview.
Did you pull the bill up that I sent you?
Do you want me to pull the bill up that I sent you?
Yeah, because I want you to read the entirety of the bill.
Oh, you shitting me? How many pages is it?
Hold on and I'll tell you.
Oh yeah. I want you to read that whole bill there right now.
11.
Oh, okay, that's not bad.
And we can't put it in the chat because it's protected by some PDF thing. But I searched it and it took me a couple hours and I finally found it.
Abolish, you sent it to?
Yes. I sent it twice. I sent it right before the show and earlier today.
Scott Langford.
Yep, that's it. You got to scroll all the way down to see where it says you can read it, the full context in here. And then you'll see you're not going to be able to copy it either. Or share it. You're not going to be able to do anything with it. But I read the whole bill earlier. Of course, I look like a typewriter because I had to blow it up really big.
Yeah. All right. Jeez, boy, you were emailing today, huh? Woo. Wow.
I sent you a lot of emails.
Yeah. So, go and look at this bill here. Wow. Be looking at that for a year. Let's see here. Scott Langford, South Carolina.
Yeah.
All right, let's take an eye at this. Take a gander here. Keep going. Full text and legislation can be found here. A bill. You're just a bill to protect the rights. Oh, you know what? Let's do this. Let's show it up on the screen here for everybody to look at. Hello, Miss Clearwater. Arjuna, we have late night windows open for you to do your show for overseas. Just let you know, we still have availabilities. Let's see, where's this here? There we go. Share. Okay. Oh shoot, fire. Well, hopefully it'll stay with me here. Stay with me. Hold. Hold. Hold the line. All right, can you see it, Tiff? So I can't see it right now. But can you see the bill on the screen? Hello?
Yeah, it's on there.
Okay, good. Just making sure this microphone is on. All right, it says in the Senate of the United States, Mr. Scott of South Carolina introduced the following bill, which was which was read twice and referred to the committee on no such dates. A bill to protect the parents, to direct the upbringing of their children, as a fundamental right enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America and Congress assembled. Section 1, short title. This act may be cited as Families' Rights and Responsibilities Act, Congressional Findings and Declaration of Purposes. Findings. Congress finds the following. The nature of the parent-child relationship endows parents with the primary responsibility and obligation to care for their child. From these responsibilities and obligations comes the pre-political natural right of the parents for the care of their children. The role of parents in raising and rearing of their children is on an inestimable value and deserving of both praise and protection by all levels of government. This right is recognized in the traditions of the Western civilization that recognizes that that parents have the responsibility to love, nurture, raise, protect their children. The right encompasses the authority of parents to direct the upbringing, education, and health care of their children according to the dictates of their conscience, to direct the upbringing, education, and health care of their children in their own beliefs. Children in their beliefs and religion, and to be primary decision maker for their child until the child reaches adulthood. The Supreme Court has consistently recognized the primary role of parents in caring for children, concluding the following. The child is not a mere creature of the state. Those who nurture him and direct his destiny have the right, coupled with the high duty, to recognize and prepare him for additional obligations. Pierce versus Society of the Sisters of the Holy Names in Jesus and Mary. Holy moly. It is natural duty of the parent to give his children education suitable to their station in life. Meyer versus Nebraska. It is plain that the interest of a parent in the companionship, care, custody, and management of his or her own children comes to this court with a momentum for respect lacking when appeal is made to liberties which derive merely from shifting economic arrangements. Where did you go, buddy? The history and culture of Western civilization reflects a strong tradition of parental concern for the nurture and upbringing of their children. This primary role of the parents in the upbringing Celeste's coming out right now. Oh my God, this is awesome. This primary role of the parents in the upbringing of their children is now established beyond debate as an enduring American tradition. Wisconsin versus Yoder. Our jurisprudence historically has reflected Western civilization's concepts of Our jurisprudence historically has reflected Western civilization concepts of the family as a unit with broad parental authority over minor children. Our cases have consistently followed the course. Parent versus JR. We have recognized on numerous occasions that the relationship between parent and child is constitutionally protected. Quillinan versus Walcott. The Supreme Court has explained that the liberties specially protected by the Due Process Clause includes the rights to direct the education and upbringing of one's child. We have just recognized the fundamental rights of parents to make decisions concerning the care, custody, and control of their children in light of this existence precedent. It's funny, dude. In the light of this extensive precedent, it cannot now be doubted that the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment protects the fundamental right of parents to make decisions concerning the care, custody, and control of their children. Troxel versus Granville. The Due Process Clause does not permit a state to infringe on the fundamental rights of parents to make child-rearing decisions simply because a state judge believes a better decision could be made. Troxel. Some decisions in federal courts have failed to recognize the fundamental right of parents, resulting in an improper standard of judicial review being applied to the government conduct that adversely affects parental rights and prerogatives. Government agencies have increasingly intruded into the legitimate decisions and prerogatives of parents in situations that do not involve abuse or neglect, but simply an agency's disagreement with parenting choices. Based on this dissent and this quantum over religious philosophical premises. Government's involvement in parenting should prioritize the parents that should get support, not supplant, not parenting should prioritize the parents. Government's involvement in parenting should prioritize the parent's role as the child's primary educator and should support, not supplant, the parents' rights and responsibilities. Government should not interfere in decisions and actions of parents without compelling justification. The strict scrutiny test used by courts to evaluate cases concerning fundamental rights is the correct standard of review for government actions that interfere with the right of parents to direct the upbringing, education, and health care of their children, and it is appropriately balances that the interests of parents, children, and government. Purposes. The purpose of this act are to protect the rights of parents to direct upbringing of their children as a fundamental right, and while protecting the rights of parents to acquire responsibilities and have responsibility for the education, nurture, and upbringing of their civil children as specified by the Supreme Court. Winter went over there. We're going to go see her right now. Here in a second. And have the high duty, throat so dry, and have the high duty to recognize and prepare their children for additional obligations as specified by the Supreme Court in Pierce versus Society of the Sisters of the Holy Names of Jesus and Mary. In this act, government, the term government includes a branch, department, agency, instrumentally an official or other person acting under color of law of the United States, the District of Columbia and Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, and each territory in possession of the United States. Parent, the term parent means a biological parent of a child, an adoptive parent of a child, or an individual who has been granted exclusive right and authority over the welfare of a child under state law. Child, the term child means an individual who has not attained 18 years of age. Substantial burden, the term substantial burden, A, means any action directly or indirectly constrains, inhibits, curtails, or denies the right of a parent to direct the upbringing, education, and health care of their child, or compels any action contrary to the rights of the parents to direct the upbringing, education, and health care of their child, and includes withholding benefits, assessing criminal, civil, or administrative penalties or damages, exclusion from governmental programs. Protection of parental rights. In general, fundamental right, the liberty of parents, and direct the upbringing, education, and health care of their children is a fundamental right. Limits on government interference. Government shall not substantially burden the fundamental rights of the parents to direct the upbringing, education, and health care of their child without demonstrating that the infringement is required by a compelling governmental interest of the highest order as applied to the parent and the child as in the least restrictive means of furthering the compelling governmental interest. The fundamental rights protected include, without limitation, the following rights and responsibilities: to direct the education of the child, to direct the moral and religious upbringing of the child, to access and review all medical records of the child, and to make consent to all physical and mental health care decisions for the child. The effect of this act on the other rights: unless legally waived or legally terminated, parents have inalienable rights that are more comprehensive than those listed in this section. This act does not prescribe all rights of parents, nor does it preemptive or foreclose claims or remedies in support of parental rights that are available under any other federal law, state law, United States Constitution, or state constitution. Exceptions: this section does not apply to a parental action or decision that would result in serious physical injury to the child that would end its life. Judicial remedy: any parent may raise a violation of this act as claim of defense in an action in federal or state court or before an administrative tribunal. Standing to assert a claim or defense under this section shall be governed by the general rules standing under Article 3 of the Constitution. Attorney's fees. Judicial proceedings, Section 722 of revised statutes amended by inserting the Family Rights and Responsibilities Act before Title 4 or 6 of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, Administrative Proceedings, Section 504B1C of the Title V United States Code is amended by striking the Religious Freedom Restoration Act of 1993 and inserting any adjudication under the Religious Freedom and Restoration Act of 1993 or the Family Rights and Responsibilities Act. In general, this act applies to each federal law and the implementation of any such law, whether it's statutory or otherwise, and whether adopted before or after the date of enactment of this act. Additional rights, the protections of the fundamental rights of parents, direct the upbringing of the education and health care of their children afforded by this act are in law in addition to the protections provided under federal law, state law, and the state and federal constitutions. This act shall be construed in favor of broad protection, fundamental rights of parents to direct the upbringing, education, and health care of their children. No government burden. Nothing in this act shall be construed and authorize any government to burden the fundamental rights of parents to direct the upbringing, education, and health care of their children. Subsequent to enacted laws, federal statutory laws adopted after the date of this enactment of this act is subject to this act, unless such law explicitly excludes such application by reference to this act. Next time you don't want to read a damn thing, you let do it yourself. Whew.
I have to print it, but I couldn't print it. You can't even copy it.
Oh, I bet you I could have it printed in 2 seconds.
Try and print it.
Here, you know this little button right here? We do download. Tiff and the Punisher. Families' Rights and Responsibilities Act. Thank you. Yeah, there it is. Right there, Tiff.
It told me it's protected.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a long bill.
Well, email me the printed copy so that I can print it because I need that.
What is it? Little tiny writing for you still?
Yeah, I still can't read that. But anyway, isn't that such a good bill?
I like this one. Although I don't like, listen, they're not doing anything for families that have already been terminated.
Well, we got to work on that.
Yeah. How many parents have had their rights terminated, do you think?
A lot.
I
feel like every week here in Virginia, I'm reading a case about termination of parental rights.
Parents.
And if you go to your government website in your state and sign up for emails for the appellate courts and the Supreme Courts and the district courts, once a week you'll get an email and you can open all the cases and look at them.
Yep. So in the United States, parental rights are terminated more than 50,000 times each year. In 2021, 65,000 parental rights were terminated. That's awful. What a freaking number. Wow. That almost makes you sick, doesn't it?
Yep. I know when I was going through this, I'm like, this can't really be happening. I mean, they can't really terminate my rights, right? I mean, really? Yeah, really. Terrible.
What does this article here say? 1 in 100 kids lose legal ties to their parents by the time they turn 18.
Yep, I believe that. I'm going to write that case down that Chris just put in there.
Time advocate who wants the law repealed. Look at those kids whose parents' rights are terminated. The system doesn't fight for children. The system does not parent. She added, referring to the higher likelihood of negative life outcomes for foster children. Child welfare family law spoke with PBS
And
News out.
in Clearwater, I wear that proudly. I wear that badge proudly.
If parents' rights are terminated, they can file a petition to reinstate them. But this is an option only available in 22 states, and even then, this is only possible if the child has not yet been adopted, and the barriers of winning the case vary by state.
Yeah, you can Spanny, because I don't do termination because anyway. She said after 2 years you can file for a restoration, and if your child has not been adopted, you can readopt them. I said, are you kidding me? You got to readopt your children.
Yep, you do. That's what you got to do with me.
I think Spanny sent me that information. I think it's called I know here it's restoration of parental rights. But that doesn't guarantee you'll get your kids back.
No, I don't remember. I used to know what the thing was for the phone. You should get emergency stuff on your phone. I don't remember what it was. Wow. The adopted family going forward for every kid. That's just internally increased since the law passed. More than 23,000 children still age out of the system each year.
Fanny said it's after 1 year because she's on the chat. After 1 year.
Yeah, if they're not adopted after 1 year, correct. I tried to do it, and you know what though? Do you know that CPS gets back involved and they're involved with that child till they're 18 years old? You have to be at that underneath the hands of CPS till the child turns 18.
Well, that shouldn't be the case. If your rights were restored, they have no business being in that, and you don't have to contract with them. Spanny said it's called the second chance.
Yeah. It could be called the doesn't work either.
Is that federal and state, Fanny? Spanny?
Did you call her Fanny?
Yeah. I was trying to say federal and state and her name at the same time.
Federal, state, Spanny equals Fanny. I ain't even heard anybody say Fanny in a long time.
Oh my God. I am tired.
I have not heard anybody say the word Fanny in a long time.
Okay. And you can do it once every 6 months as long as they are not adopted, she said.
Yeah.
I told Darren this in one of my constitutional law books. It said you could actually, and I think we talked about this on a live, that you could actually argue the 8th Amendment for cruel and unusual punishment because they're punishing the parents, but the people that pay the price, according to the constitutional law book, are the children. So if I was a lawyer, I would definitely argue the 8th Amendment.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's just Gabe also talked about the trial by jury yesterday too. Not in a very little bit, but he talked a little bit about. You want to watch the interview real quick? It was short. It's only like 10-15 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, let me pull it up. I'll pull it up. We can watch the interview.
Okay.
Oh my God. Fanny's stuck in the RV. You're not making no noise. My mother is? My mom? Oh, hi, Linda.
I know I was looking up the Eighth Amendment.
Oh, all right. That's why I couldn't hear you. That's good. All right, let's see here. What we got? What you got? What you got? What you got? YouTube. Spanny's on fire. Yeah, I did a nice job. Tim Scott, that's a nice article that you just had me read to. Okay, YouTube. And Gabe will be back on with us. He said he would be on more times with us, so that's cool. Just because you missed it this time, Tiff, because you were asleep, doesn't mean that we'll always not have him. He said that he'd be more than willing to come back on with us. Share the word.
Maybe we could get him and Eric on at the same time.
And I would like to get him and Eric and Connie on at the same time.
All right, so I will call. I'm writing it down now. Call. All right, so we'll have to organize this for all three of them.
I think this is it right here. There we go. From last night, guys, right here. Phew. Okay. How this system.
Oklahoma for a while.
All right, everybody, welcome to this edition of. I'm actually filling in tonight for Gunner's CPS Gunning for Justice. I mean CPS Gunning, Gunner Gunning for CPS. I'm in for him tonight. He's out and ill, so we apologize for him tonight and hope that he's all right, especially with his heart and everything. But I'm sitting in for him. I hope no one minds. But I've got a great guest on here. This is someone that's actually listening and has been through the system himself, and now he's working in the hallways of Washington or Oklahoma, I guess, if you will. This is a great privilege to have, but it's Senator Gabe Woolley is with me, and we'll get him out here, and he's going to explain his bill that House Bill 1100 that they're trying to pass here in Oklahoma, because this thing is rocking, man. Like, this thing is every state needs to follow suit with what you're doing, my man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys having me. This is an issue that we've seen here in Oklahoma for a while, but really it's a nationwide issue. So yeah, I did file Oklahoma House Bill 1100 in the Oklahoma House of Representatives. And so that's DHS accountability bill. It kind of circulated through the media here in Oklahoma pretty quickly. We're trying to get it pushed out more nationally and have some pressure put on elected officials to act, to pass this bill or a variation of it, to hold accountability. So whatever you guys would like to know about it, just let me know.
What kind of push are you getting off of this? Like, how does it feel when you go out there and when you started this bill, like, was your constituents all like, well, come on, man, we're not going to do this? Like, what's the feel on the Senate floors and such with this stuff?
No, the people of Oklahoma, when it was in the media and social media and stuff, the feedback I'm getting from Oklahomans constituents is positive. They think there needs to be accountability from Child Protective Services. There was an interview we did with News Channel 6 here in Oklahoma that they had sought out a fellow state representative that was in opposition to this bill. Arguably, there was a conflict of interest with that, though. I mean, this representative is a former sheriff. He's friends with the sheriff that tried to prosecute my parents for false accusations of murder and abuse. And that sheriff is friends with the news anchor on News Channel 6. So it's sort of that triangle of
right
people trying to work against us through the media.
Because this has a good tie. This ties to you, especially, right? Like this is something that's you have firsthand knowledge of how this system works and how this can ruin your family. Correct? Like, isn't this from what I've read your story?
Yeah, my parents, Bill and Lisa Woolley, had legal guardianship of their two grandsons, Clayton and Elijah, because my sister was in drug rehab, and she was doing well in her program, but they had legal guardianship until she was able to take custody of the boys back herself. And while they were in custody of my parents, Elijah died at 14 months old in the middle of the night, likely from SID, sudden infant death syndrome. My sister abused him while she was pregnant with him. But they were falsely accused of murder and child abuse and put in jail for 8 months for crimes they didn't commit. And so then all charges were dropped against them in 2021. They tried to charge them in 27 different ways. None of the charges would stick or work. There was no evidence of any crime. But Child Protective Services took Clayton away at 5 years old, and even after charges were dropped or dismissed, has never returned him. In March, it will be 7 years. There's more information. There's a podcast, there's a documentary at rescueclayton.com. So I would go to rescueclayton.com. Documentary Saving Clayton, and that's on YouTube. It's free to watch. The Rescue Clayton podcast is on YouTube. We would start with episode 1 with Lisa Woolley. Talks about her time in jail, being falsely accused of crimes they didn't commit, things like that. So RescueClayton.com again has more information on that, but that certainly motivated me to run for office. I'm also a former elementary school teacher. I worked in education for 9 years. That was another motivation for office, needed some education reform. And so it's my first year in the Oklahoma House of Representatives, state level government.
Hey, congratulations, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
It's hard for a young guy. I'm going to assume that you're a young guy, you're a younger guy, but it's got to be hard to get up into, especially a place like Oklahoma. It's like, they're built in, it's solid. So it's got to be hard to break into the system up there and, get elected in and find a spot, to get in there. It's got to be,
we had a slim margin. I won by only a few votes, about 28 votes. But it was until I went on to face the Democrat. We're a more Republican state, so the race is usually tighter when it's Republican versus Republican. But then once you're the Republican candidate, you usually beat the Democrats easily out in conservative areas like I'm in. But yeah. So
but then you come in and you just crash down this bill, like, all right, so let's get these guys in jail.
Something like that. Well,
go big or go home, right? Like, if you're gonna do this, you're gonna do it right.
I did file 8 bills. House reps in Oklahoma are limited. They can only run 8 bills a year. Senators on the other side are not. They can run as many bills as they want. So I filed Oklahoma House Bill 1100, and what Oklahoma House Bill 1100 does is it changes the legal term of the preponderance of evidence. It changes it to clear and convincing evidence. So preponderance of evidence just means there needs to be a 51% chance or likelihood that something may or may not happen to a child, have happened to a child. This doesn't require any proof that the child was abused or neglected. So DHS or Child Protective Services could take your children away when there's not even actually any evidence of any crime or abuse happening. So I filed Oklahoma House Bill 1100, and it changes the legal language that the judge would have to operate off of. It changes the word preponderance, and it takes that out. It changes clear and convincing evidence, which means they actually have to have evidence that something happened. They can't just have a hunch or a feeling or an idea and choose to keep your children away because of that. They actually have to have facts, evidence, proof. And so that's the biggest part of the bill. That's the most important part of it. Is the legal terminology.
I was looking over the bill, and it says, it talks about your guys' thing. It must be how Oklahoma works out there, but it talks about you have the first hearing, which for us it would be called a 72-hour hearing. So your bill calls for your guys' first hearing. It was like 2 days or something, I believe, right? You had 48 hours or something to contact someone.
I did put guidelines in there because when you remove someone's child from their home and there's not necessarily, first off, you haven't faced a jury and a judge hasn't made a decision. There's no proof that anything happened yet. Time is of the essence, because the longer the child is away from their home, the more traumatic it will be. And if they're not
Right.
supposed to be removed from the home, then we want to make sure that window of time they're away is as short as possible. So
Right.
I did put time frames in the bill that 48 hours to, I'd have to read it again to, to have
Right.
a hearing, and the judge has to have a review hearing every 6 months. As long as the guardianship isn't terminated, as long as there's still some evidence or possibility that there may or may not have been abuse, the judge has to review it every 6 months and prove that the child should continue to be kept away. They actually have to have proof, not just hearsay.
Right. So would you, for this first hearing, would the parents be allowed, like, would you still go this, would the parents be allowed to defend themselves at this hearing? Or
That's supposed to,
what's your idea?
the purpose of it is that the judge would have to, I have another bill coming out that is a little more, even more specific on that. But there's the purpose of the hearings is that both sides, DHS and the defendant, the parents, are supposed to have equal time with the judge and the right to defend yourself. And so those 6-month hearings are supposed to be both parties present,
Right.
not
Okay.
DHS giving their recommendation and that's the story, which is what happens very often a lot of times. The judge will talk with DHS and DHS gets the last word, or the judge will talk with DHS in their private quarters and there's no one there to defend themselves. So that's the problem. Then at the end of the bill, not the main purpose of the bill, but the media kind of ran with it because it was more controversial. If Child Protective Services, if the judge orders the release of the child and DHS refuses to cooperate, they can be charged with a kidnapping felony. And so that's happened before. It's not very likely to happen if a judge orders it, but it has happened. It's not impossible. But again, the main purpose of the bill is changing the word of context.
Right. And that's huge. That's huge because that's like, I think that I heard someone say that you may have been involved in something, but I'm not sure if that's even true. Like that's preponderance amount of evidence. It's just the fact that you've been mentioned. There's a chance that there possibly has something to do with it. There's no solidarity. There's nothing solid to that. There's no meat and potatoes. See, I was one of those people that went through this myself, man. Like my convictions, all my charges were completely dismissed, and I was terminated in my rights for my daughter. My daughter's gone. She's been gone for 3 years now, and I'm still fighting this stuff, because once they terminate, it's harder to get, further and further down that, and I won't stop ever fighting. But all my charges were dropped too. So I agree with what you're saying. I mean, it's huge. Especially in the cases of when they first take that child, because like you said, the trauma is so huge. I can't believe that they're still even allowing this they're taking the child out of the home when this starts to be the way that it is. Because you're found guilty immediately, and they just remove their child because of some caseworker that just graduated college, is trying to make a name for herself or something. Who knows what the deal is? But to be able to go to a court and have to present actual evidence and for a judge to hear that is kind of a big deal. And then to take preponderance out of it is even a bigger deal, because now they have to have something to stand on, at least something that says fact-wise something has happened to the child. So that stuff's all huge. But
yeah,
how is that going to work with the ties of how DHS works now with the Title IV funding? Will they run hand in hand, like those dates still, like the 6 months reviews? You want it to be separate from the Title IV stuff, I'm assuming, right? You're like, no, we're not doing this still with Title IV. We're going to go on our own route. It's going to be 6 months regardless that we get a review for these families. And are those reviews, those reviews, are those going to be like another trial-like thing for you? Or is that just like
the language says that they're required to have a 6-month review. So if the judge is not having the 6-month review, the judge is breaking the law and then could be charged or jeopardize the judge's position. It doesn't say should or might have a review. The law would say the judge shall or must have a 6-month review. So, and DHS as well.
Right. I noticed you did a bunch of definitions in your, you broke down a bunch of words, which is really cool. One I didn't see in there, and I wanted to know, because it's obviously a huge undertaking. I've written some bills myself that I've tried to push through, and I'm not in any position to have that done, so I try to send them out, whatever. But you put a whole list of words in there, but I didn't see imminent danger. What is your feelings on that, on imminent danger? Because that's one of the big ones that we talk about on the show a lot, is imminent danger. What does it truly mean? Like, to me, it's a siren, the bombs are blowing up, stuff's going down. And that's what they use. Their language is imminent danger is why they come and take your kid. So how is it that you feel imminent danger should be poised on these things?
Well, the term, changing the legal term of preponderance to clear and convincing evidence that would have a higher burden of proof of what imminent danger is. You'd have to
Right.
have proof of that imminent danger, not just
Mhm.
hearsay. But these bills, how it works in Oklahoma, I mean, you basically tell the lawyers that work for the House of Representatives that find the legal language and write the legal language of your bill. You tell them what you want your bill to say, and then they have to type it out to match the Oklahoma and United States Constitution. So I didn't write those definitions. That came from,
Right.
here's what Representative Woolley wants the bill to say, and then here are the legal terms already in place. And so those definitions are already in law.
All right, I see. So you
Change
just
the definition of something, I'd have to write a new bill to do that. Just that.
Oh, Jesus, right. Because it's not just as easy as here you go, here's a paper, and let's put this in. It's how long, one of the guys here, Herbert, wanted to know, how long does it take for your bill to go through? Like, how long, if their bill turns to law, how long could this possibly take?
Session starts on February 3rd, and we are putting bills through committee, debating them on the floor, going to the governor's desk over a period of 4 months. So if the bill were to pass, I'm a freshman lawmaker, so my understanding is we'll know if I'm in May. They're going to die before then, not make it out of committee, not floor. But by May is the end of session, so we'll know all the bills that have been passed in May 2025.
What can be done to help raise support for this for you?
Well, if you live in Oklahoma, you should call your state representative starting next month and tell them to vote yes for Oklahoma House Bill 1100 because they're supposed to be listening to their constituents who they represent.
Right.
I would ask people to find me on social media and to share these posts, because what we're trying to do is get the word out about this bill and about us, at least whether it passes or not, at least having the fight and using this platform in the House of Representatives to help anyone else nationwide, because your local state representatives or senators could take this bill and write a version of it for your state. So we're hoping that every single person, no matter where you live in the United States, is finding me on social media and sharing about the bill and content and contacting their local media stations and news stations and asking them to interview us about the bill. Because we want this to ripple throughout the nation to where other states can say, hey, our people, our constituents in Nebraska, in Alaska, in California are telling us about the variation of the House bill that's coming for our state. I'm getting phone calls and emails about this. So that's what people would need to use their voice. So if you live in Oklahoma, call your state representative and tell them to vote for Oklahoma House Bill 1100 if you've read the bill, if you've decided to agree with it. If you don't live in Oklahoma, I would go to social media and find me Gabe Woolley, GabeWoolley, and find the posts about the bill and share it. Put some of your own context into the post on Facebook, on X, on Twitter, on Instagram, as to why people should support or read or consider this bill in your state. And contact your local media, contact any podcast host that you have. We'd love to interview with them and help spread the word throughout the whole nation. When the people start to use their voice to speak up about things is when we eventually start to see impact and changes happen, no matter what we are in the nation.
Right. Hey, on February 14th, Valentine's Day, of course, we're doing an all-around show with all the shows that we have on here, because we have a bunch of shows that go throughout the day and everything. But we're doing a call out to Donald Trump. So we're having people record a message that they're going to send, and we're going to send them the whole thing. If you're interested that day, man, you want to pop a message, go ahead and get in touch with me, and we can do that. And you can add your, because I think this is something that needs to go bigger than Oklahoma. This needs to go, as Howard Dean would be, we need Oklahoma, we need New Hampshire, as Howard Dean freak out. And we do need to have that. We need to have someone like you that's come in, and you got, the balls to actually just step right in and say, all right, DHS, let's go. Let's change this, because the way you're going to go about taking kids is about ready to change. And even though it seems like a minute step to some are like, what does that mean? That's a huge step, changing that word. That word is giant, because that means that they actually have to have something now when they go into that court to say that they're going to keep your kids. And that's definitely a huge thing.
Yeah. So, and to the point you made earlier about having everything taken away and having a right to defend yourself. I would also look up Oklahoma House Bill 1164. I filed that one. That one's basically, it's called Protect Children, Protect Families from Government Overreach Act. So,
that's excellent too. I mean, we can definitely bring that one up.
It's basically the reverse button. If charges are dropped, dismissed, or someone is found not guilty, everything has to be undone. They return your children, your property, they expunge your record.
I love it. I love it.
And if charges are dropped or dismissed, which would only happen if there's no evidence of any crime. So
that's excellent. Well, I know that you're busy. I know that you have things you had to do this tonight. I appreciate you coming out for this amount of time, and now you're choking to death. So I hope I'm not giving you COVID or anything.
No, you're good.
But I don't know. We'll check in with you here in another couple of weeks. And like I said, Valentine's Day, man, if you want to get on here with us and yell a message out to get your message out for that. And we'll do some things on this side to get some recognition on your bill. We have some connections as well that we could definitely assist you with in your hunt, man, because this is some real stuff. And definitely check out what was it, Oklahoma Bill 164, you said?
Yeah, Oklahoma House Bill 1164.
1164.
And any podcast, any local news stations in your state, it doesn't matter if you're like, well, we live in Nebraska and you live in Oklahoma, this is Nebraska news, we don't care, we'll interview with them if you're want to put pressure on your state legislators to do a similar bill. And so any local media, any national media, any podcast, we'll push the word out about Oklahoma House Bill 1100, the DHS kidnapping bill, some have called it, and then Oklahoma House Bill 1164, protecting children from families from government overreach legislation. Sweet. And I'll put my name and social media handles in the comments and stuff if people want to be able to find more information.
Yeah, I'm working on getting your stuff up on the screen right now, so I'll put that out throughout the show too. That'll be on there for you. So
sure, yeah, I'll text my X Twitter handle. And,
okay, yeah, definitely. If you can do that, that would be huge. And I can get all this stuff out for you. This is exciting, man. I'm glad that, just thank you very much for just having the balls to go ahead first into these guys, man. Like, I've been, Chris Naylor said he's passing your bill, Gabe Woolley, to our representatives here in Florida. So he's also said that.
And just keep in mind, whenever you have a conversation with your state representatives or senators, if there's one piece or one part that they think the bill isn't possible or they don't like it, you can amend bills. They don't have to copy and paste it. Make a variation of it that works for your state. So I would press them and encourage them a little bit to do this, not just take no for an answer. Say, well, is there any variation of this bill or similarities that we can do, even if you don't like part of it? There's a thing called amendments. You can amend and change things. So, have an open mindset, be teachable about it, but definitely press for there to be accountability for child protective services. This is not an abolish CPS bill. This is a pro-accountability, hold the government accountable, call it like it is. The government is not above the law type bill. That's what this is. And just know that when you write legislation, no matter where you are, in the U.S. Congress or in the state, best practice is to write bills that chip away at certain different things. Try to write a bill that's going to try to solve every problem, it won't make it past committee because it would try to do too much at once. So this bill is just part of the process. The Oklahoma House Bill 1164 is another part of the process. We'll file more bills next year to hold the government, DHS accountable to the people, make sure it's not harming children and only protecting them.
Yeah, and we're launching our website this week too, so we'll make sure that we get your bills up on that. Well, they could be in the media section. We'll have the bills up there for people to have and grab. So that's really cool. We're gonna rock you, man. We're gonna do what we can to help you get this bill through. So
I appreciate it. I sent you my Twitter X handle if people want to follow me on there and keep up with it.
Excellent.
Also on Facebook and Instagram, Gabe Woolley, GabeWoolley. Best way to keep information, send it, share it out. Contact your local media stations, local podcasts. We'll interview with anyone to get the word further out about it and put more pressure on the government to be held accountable and do the right thing to protect children.
Right on. Well, like I said, we have plenty more shows on this channel here, man. And if you're more than welcome to anytime you want to come out and be on, you're more than welcome to, man. So you know how to get in touch. So
absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you, buddy.
Wow, we definitely need to get him on with Eric.
Mm-hmm. Faux show.
So I'm gonna definitely call my sister tomorrow. So we're gonna have to set this meeting up.
Getting busy, Tiff. Getting busy.
I know it's getting exciting.
Yeah.
It's House Bill 1164 or one.
He's got House Bill 1100, and then there's House Bill 1164 as well.
1164. Okay, because I'm gonna send those to
There.
my local rep here too.
Yep. All right.
So we need his two bills to go through and try and get those passed in every state, and then we need this federal one done that you read. So those are the bills that we need to get passed this year.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right.
All right.
I got to go put the little one to bed. But that was a good interview.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very kindly. Yep. We'll do it. We'll get it again. We got other good things coming up this week. Hopefully, cross our fingers. We got some other guests who do, and we're moving up the ladder.
Yeah.
So,
well,
right,
I'll let
everybody.
you know about my guest tomorrow as soon as he contacts me back. He hasn't hit me back yet. I gave him a time, so we'll see.
Or you gave him an ultimatum?
Huh?
You gave him an ultimatum? If you don't call me by this time, then
Oh no, I just leave it like it is. I just wait.
Put up a fight, mowing down redcoats, they wanted freedom.
Bye, everybody.
Had to fight. Now we take the sacrifice in vain. They loaded their muskets.
don't forget,
firing one by one.
we got
That's why we have the freedom to own a gun.
turn the page on tonight, and we also have CPS Victims Hunting for Justice. So 9 o'clock, turn the page, and then 10 o'clock, CPS Victims Hunting for Justice. So check it out. Have a good night, Tiff.
Now things are so corrupted, they're taking our rights away. Hey, Uncle Sam, where did you go? I called Washington today, but nobody's home. We all want to stand for our freedom, but nobody wants to do it today. Can't you see time is a waste and the Constitution we love is fading? Make no tread on the reality, or the USA will be the next casualty. We are here for freedom, those we will protect. Unite for the values we cherish, or watch everything perish. Our men have fought for our freedoms, many women have too. Their blood spilled upon the ground, with the news many frown. They paid a price that many won't pay, now we are letting the cause fade away. The graves are being neglected by the actions of so many deceptive. The freedoms they fought for in every world war, conflict or mission, so many stayed behind signing petitions, while those away dying were there to protect them. It's time to wake up in the USA. We are all slipping away into the darkness we once ran from. It's getting worse every day. Now they are taking our children more and more every day. No soldier ever fought for taking our children away. This is not why they bled for our freedom. They didn't die for some cheap pay. We all need to come together and fight this corruption, and it starts today. We need to wake up America, go back to parades, remember true family values, laugh again as children play. These are the things we fought for, 200 years strong, but now we're losing all of this. Don't tread on me does exist. So rise up and be strong. We don't have to go along. We need to push back now, like our forefathers did. It's time to bring back the way it was, when families lived together, all that mattered was love. It's not always easy to take back what they have grabbed. With all of us together we can do it, two loving children and mom and dad. This is our country, it's called USA. So many have fallen, say don't tread on me today.